Okay, today we are going to start new topic that is nothing but polarization. Okay, so this is also like interference diffraction. This is also one of the property of polarization. So what we are doing, we will see what is polarization, how we can know what are the different, how we can produce different types of polarization, and how we can produce different types of polarization, how we can produce a how we can distinguish between a polarized light and unpolarized light. Okay, so our first topic is what is polarization. Polarization is nothing but it is one kind of a like interference diffraction. It is one of the property of the light which has various types of uses. Okay, so before going to polarization, we will see about one experiment. We will see what experimentally we will see how we can distinguish between a polarized light and unpolarized light. Okay, so what is happening here, before going for this one, what we will see an example of a polarized light, how we can distinguish an unpolarized light and polarized light. See, this is for example, this is a light. Okay, we are having two slits. This is slit 1, this is slit 2. So both are parallel to each other. So what is happening here, when both are parallel to each other, the unpolarized light, it can travel from this slit S1 and it is traveling from slit S2, and we can see the light in this direction. Okay, and in the second example, what we are doing, this is the slit 1, this is slit 2, but both are perpendicular to each other. So what is happening here, this light cannot pass to this end. Here we can see the light, here it is complete darkness will be there. So from this figure, what we can say, we can distinguish between a polarized light and unpolarized light. That means the light which is coming, this is unpolarized light. When it is passing from slit S1, it is getting polarized because both the slits are parallel to each other. Whatever the light is there, it is coming out from the second slit. So this is nothing but how unpolarized light is getting polarized and it is passing through the two slits. Here we are having, this is unpolarized light, so we are having two slits, but both the slits are, both are perpendicular to each other. So what is happening here, we are not getting any light. So this is nothing but how unpolarized light is getting polarized, and this is one example of how we can produce polarized light. This is one example. Okay, so this is how we can produce a polarized light. So this is one of the method to produce polarized light and to distinguish between polarized light and unpolarized light. Okay. See, was one example of how we can distinguish between a polarized light and unpolarized light. See, this is one more example on how we can produce a polarized light. See here, this is a unpolarized light. It is passing through what is happening here, the light will get polarized when it passes through certain crystals like quartz, or the light will get polarized while passing through certain crystals. Okay, so here we are having unpolarized light, we are having a quartz crystal. So what is happening here, when light is passing through this quartz crystal, it is getting polarized. So here, like a light, we have seen the two slits. Here we are having, both are perpendicular to each other. This is one crystal, quartz crystal, this is second quartz crystal. Both optic axes are perpendicular to each other. So what we can see, the unpolarized light, when passing through this quartz crystal, it is getting polarized, and when it is passing through this one, what is happening here, we cannot see the light. So this is we cannot see light here. When both are parallel to each other, we can see the light. When both are perpendicular to each other, we cannot see the light. So this is a example of how light is getting unpolarized light is getting polarized. Okay, so how we can represent a polarized light and unpolarized light. You see, because unpolarized light, because unpolarized light it passes through. Actually, what is polarization means, it is nothing but when light acquires one direction or unidirection, that is called as a polarized light. So this is a representation of unpolarized light. That means because it is traveling in all directions, this direction, this direction, this direction. So this represents the unpolarized light. So this represents the polarized light, which is having one direction, which has acquired one direction, that is called as a, this is representation of unpolarized light, this is representation of a polarized light. So we can represent the unpolarized light like this, and we can represent the polarized lights like this. Okay. So here this is one more topic, that is nothing but a what is polarization and unpolarization. So next topic is how we can produce polarization by different method. Polarization can be produced by 5 methods. First one is by reflection, by refraction, by double refraction, by selective absorption, by scattering. So first method is by method of reflection. So what we can do, so before going to that one, again we will see how what is polarization means. Polarization is nothing but see like this, how we can produce a polarized light. These are two slits, S1, S2. How the light is traveling from this one, because when both are parallel to each other, we can see the light coming out from this. When both are perpendicular, we cannot see the light coming. That means here it is getting unidirection. The light is getting unidirection. That's why it cannot pass through this one. So this is nothing but one of the methods how to produce polarized light.